Hello guys, welcome to Tech Tutorials. So let's talk about the new best and worst heroes in Marvel's Rivals end of season 0 tier list. So this is an updated version of the worst and the best. So we're going to be starting off with the worst heroes in Marvel's Rivals. First and foremost, we have Squirrel Girl here. So let's take a good look at her stats here on how small the hitbox actually is. So her grenade explosions have tiny hitboxes, so making it difficult to land hits even in crowded areas. So low damage as well. So grenades deal with minimal damage, requiring 3 to 4 hits to take down a squishy target. Which healers can easily counter. If you get healers like Wolverine, man, so underwhelming ultimate. So her ultimate ability has a slow stun activation and brief stun duration, so limiting its effectiveness. And one of her vulnerability is defenseless against diving opponents, and basically she struggles against flying targets. I don't know about this, but she's got to be one of the worst heroes by far. So yeah, especially when the Spider-Man team up. So one of her limited strength, she can hit enemies around corners, a rare capability in the game, but limited strength basically. So Spider-Man team up, but it's decent but not remarkable. So compared with other top tier team up. So overall, Squirrel Girl's shortcomings makes her a less desirable pick. So basically, I don't know about you guys. I'll just leave it up to you if you think that Squirrel Girl deserves to be in this tier list that we are going to be, moving on forward to. Now, moving on to the next character, which is Speedball. So why is Speedball included here? If you look at his stats here, the health is very, very low. So Speedball's stats and weaknesses, let's take a look at it here. The basically movement speed is basically 7 meters per second, so above average. So as you all know, the Speedball is one of the one that has kinetic ball Q, 50 to 70% damage, 3 to 4 bounce radius, speed boost is only about 20%, and explosive kinetic ball is basically 100 and 120 damage, 3 with 3 seconds cooldown. So ultimate basically kinetic overdrive is very, very low. So 250 to 300 damage, 2.5 second stun, so very low health, vulnerable to enemy attacks, limited damage output, abilities deal with minimal damage. What else? This guy has poor range. If you guys have played this character, most abilities have short range. The weak ultimate also, so long cooldown, brief stun duration, lack of crowd control, so no reliable way to lock down enemies, and dependence on kinetic balls, this guy, so limited effectiveness without kinetic balls. So I don't know, synergies, few effective pairings with top tier heroes, but weak team play overall. So yeah, Speedball definitely belongs in the weakest tier list here. Moving on to Dazzler, Allison Blake. I mean, come on, she definitely belongs to the streets. I mean, to the tier list, worst tier list here. Wink, wink. Look at the health. I mean, come on, guys. So base stats, very, very low. Sonic Blast is basically 80 to 100 damage, 3 to 4 meters radius, I don't know. She just basically belongs here. Okay, so 20% damage only, reduction, 2 seconds duration, light show, ultimate dazzling display, very, very low. So, again, limited range. So, most abilities have short range as well. You're going to have a hard time fighting against diving opponents and heroes. So relies on dazzling display, heavy basically on this one. So difficulty dealing consistent damage, and crowd control limitations as well. No reliable way of locking down enemies, but at least she has good synergies. Heroes with diving capabilities, Deadpool, Wolverine, so decent team play, contributes moderately to team fights, but it doesn't count basically. So that's why she's on the list here, because the pros, the cons basically outweighs the pros when it comes to this chick right here. So decent damage output, but yeah, overall she definitely belongs here on this list. Warpath. Now, hear me out. Warpath's limitations make him challenging to play effectively, considering alternative heroes or strategies to compensate for this weakness. Okay, so hear me out. Look at the stats here. Strategic recommendations for you guys. Play aggressively, basically in early game. Utilize enhanced senses for damage boosts. Save ultimate for high priority targets. Okay, so this guy certainly has potential buffs. So increase damage output, boost knife slash and ability damage, and at least for the newer version of this game, improved ultimate, so longer stun duration, reduced cooldown, so, and also enhanced synergy, so I'll give him that. Okay, so why does he belong here? Well, moderately contributes to team fights. He has weak pairings, struggles with heroes, and requiring precise timing, especially on when it comes to gameplay impact. Decent damage output in mid game, struggles to contribute to team fights, and on the late games, this is where he'll get you, because vulnerable to enemy ultimates. That's probably the worst thing about Warpath here. And synergies, limited effective pairings with top tier heroes is perhaps one of the key things that are missing on this guy. I mean, that are added to this guy as well as a con. Okay, so moving on to Sunfire. Okay, so hear me out. Sunfire is not that bad, but his limitations make him challenging to play effectively. I suggest consider other heroes rather than him, because just take a look at his stats here. Again, we have short range. I don't know about you guys, but range is very, very effective. Very, very effective on determining the outcome of a game, especially if you're playing with a team. So just take a look at the base stats here. The health average, really, really bad. Plasma blast, good, kind of good, but it's 100 to 120 damage. But overall, he still belongs to the weakest. So weakness is basically vulnerability to divers as well, basically struggling against diving heroes. Okay, so depending on he basically relies heavily on supernova, so low sustained damage, difficult dealing consistent damage, poor crowd control also. So notice I always say crowd control because no reliable way to lock down enemies in this one. Weak synergies as well. Decent, moderately contributes to team fights, but also very, very weak in pairing. So struggles with heroes requiring precise timing here. So hence why that's why he belongs here. Also on the weakest tier list here. So increase in damage output, potential buffs here. Plasma Blast ability to sustain damage, improve basically ultimate longer stun duration. He has reduced cooldown as well. So yeah, it's very, very unfortunate that he belongs here, but we are now going to certainly consider this that he has a lot of potential benefits as well, and contributions as a character as a whole, and a character in the game in and of itself. Now guys, this is just I don't expect you guys to agree with me on this one 100%. Most of these things are just my personal preference on one of the worst zero tiers, one of the worst characters basically on the game, and you guys could basically disagree on the comment section if you want to. Just go ahead. Highly debatable, but as a player in and of itself, I could definitely see some pros, a little bit of pros, but the cons, again, it basically outweighs the pros when it comes to these games. Now, moving on to this one of the strongest characters in the game. So again, this is just a personal consideration, a personal preference rather, of the strongest heroes. Okay, so the first one in the list, we have no one else but Venom. Basic stats is the health is basically 800. Attack rating is 120 to 160, and speed is basically 45%. Okay, capacity. So the abilities is symbiotic resilience. It basically regenerates health over time, and that's basically making him a force to be reckoned with in the game, because he basically heals relatively quicker due to his symbiotic basically abilities, and the synergies as well is that he is in fact an anti-hero, so it gives him basically a higher synergy. So Venom is really a force to be reckoned with in this game. So testing him in a couple of battles, and yeah, that just basically ranks him to my number 5 of the list, and it's going to get a lot more powerful as the list goes down. And next of the list is basically Iron Fist. Now, Iron Fist is interesting because you can basically walk on wall as well, and his attack relatively stronger as well. It has a dodge chance, that's what makes him interesting, 20 to 30%. He has a martial art mastery, increases damage when paired with Luke Cage, so that's why you see a lot of player basically when they have Iron Fist, they also have Luke Cage in the team. Okay, so martial arts, he has martial arts abilities as well, basically defenders. So these are the synergies that I'm talking about. Boost health regeneration with Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage basically. So it's really important if you want to play Iron Fist that you have a bunch of these at hand, these characters right here, right? So another OP um, one of the OP characters now. Basically, just basically on my opinion, but if you guys differ, then you guys could just basically refute or dispute with my claims here. But he definitely belongs to one of the tier lists. Okay, so yeah, this is the design of Luke Cage in the game. Just basically see what I mean when he can walk through walls here. Um, Paired with other heroes, he's much more force to be reckoned with. Right now, our next one is Magneto. Right, so unlike Luke Cage, he has a dodge chance of only 10 to 20%, but what basically separates him from the last two that I've mentioned is he is a tank, basically, for lack of better terms. So he basically regenerates relatively fast as well. And yeah, I don't know. For me, his durability is basically, for me, I consider him OP, right? So Brotherhood of Mutants, Armed Synergies. Here he is. His design is slick, very slick on the actual game. I tested it out here on the testing room, on the training room here, and he's just OP, man. You know that you have a good character when your PC starts to lag when you're trying to do it. And now, moving on to Scarlet Witch, to our basically second to the last, right? So the health is basically outstanding. Dodge chance not that much, but what separates her is the chaos magic, right? So deals damage with basically applies random effects, basically burn or heal. Okay, so we have magic applications, increases chaos magic's damage. Synergies is Avengers, right? So she's obviously a member of the Avengers. Increases damage when paired with Vision, Captain America, or Black Widow. Or I don't know if they included Spider-Man. I don't know, because on the MCU they're obviously teammates on the MCU, right? So Avengers increases the damage on mutant supremacy, basically villainous alliance, because she is in some part an anti-hero. Yeah, so yeah, just basically an OP character as well, especially in the when paired with the Avengers. She is a force to be reckoned with, right? So the last on the list is none other than Adam Warlock, and he is basically, look at the dodge chance, 20%, 20 to 30%. Health is basically 1,000 to 1,020 to compare to Venom's 800. Reality warping stunts enemies and disrupts abilities. Basically infinite. Basically, Infinity Surge unleashes, cosmic energy. So, I don't know. For me, he deserves basically number one on the list of the top five. I don't know if you guys have different opinion, then you can just basically basically dispute or refute. Basically, cosmic entities boost health regeneration with Silver Surfer. So, or Thanos. So this guy is a Silver Surfer and Thanos level cosmic entity. That's how powerful it is. He's not like your average Marvel character like Spider-Man, or in this case Venom. I don't know if they basically put villains here as well, it might be more enjoyable. But here's his overview here, his cosmetics. You can just basically edit out his character for your preferences. But he does have cosmic cluster, quantum magic. So he is a very OP on the hero's profile here, as you can see. Adam Warlock. So yeah, that's my list of the basically strongest characters and heroes of the updated version. So yeah, I don't know, guys. This is just a personal preference, okay? So don't get butthurt about this one because you guys could certainly disagree in the comment section, and you're absolutely uh, free to do so, guys. Okay? So again, this is just a personal preference, and yeah, that's just basically it. Thank you so much for watching Tech Tutorials, and you guys have a nice day. See you in the next one.